This Fed Gov Today program is sponsored by Snowflake. On this edition of Fed Gov Today with Francis Rose, managing the coming thaw after the shutdown's contracting freeze, progress on the revolution in acquisition, and more with less gets ready for a post-shutdown comeback. Welcome to Fed Gov Today with Francis Rose. The end of the shutdown, when it comes, will mean agencies can start contracting at full speed again. But that may take some time after the longest federal government shutdown in history. Mike Derrios is the outgoing Deputy Assistant Secretary for Acquisition at the State Department. He's now founder of Derrios Advisory Group. Mike, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
So much.
What do you expect to see when the government reopens, contractors start getting back to work? What kind of impact is that going to have on the acquisition community and on the vendors?
It's going to be a deluge of activity on both sides. The vendors are going to try to figure out how their invoices have been sorted out. In some cases, they may have to resubmit invoices. Your contracting specialists and officers are going to be running around trying to figure out how to get the contractors back in. In some cases, some of the contractors may have lost staff. 30 plus days is a lot of time. And so some of the talent may be gone. And I think you're going to find, so especially small businesses are going to have to figure out who's still left, who has taken a 1099 position somewhere, who can I bring back, and is my staffing, ready to go. So it's just going to be a lot of that, I think, for the first 30, 45 days. And you're going to see a lot of RFP activity that has been pent up. And so I think industry can expect to think about, paying attention to their pipeline and what was previously put on pause and what may be now all of a sudden a priority for them to be responding to.
You mentioned potentially smaller staffs on the vendor side. That could be the case on the government side too, given that acquisition staffs all across the agency or all across the government, including GSA and others, have gotten smaller too.
I would say that's correct. Yeah, we're seeing for the first time, a lot of attrition in the 1102 job series, and that just hasn't happened previously. Again, 30 days is a lot of time. We've seen RIFs. We've seen a lot of people take the DRP opportunities. And so you absolutely have a much smaller acquisition workforce than you've had in decades past. And the shutdown could have actually encouraged some folks to potentially look at opportunities outside of government.
Are there some things that you did at the State Department in preparing for the shutdown that will help that reopening process there that other agencies could maybe copy?
Well, I don't know that we did anything necessarily unique. We pretty much followed the same playbook that everyone else did. You look at your essential contracts. You look at, most importantly, the core support. Do we have enough contracting officers to take actions if need be? But do we have the oversight on the contracts available to actually make sure that people are doing the work and that the invoices are getting paid? So that's pretty much standard.
Something that 1102s will come back to is the change in the FAR, the revolutionary FAR overhaul. We'll talk more about later in this program, really has potential to change the way that agencies do business on acquisition, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I think that most people in the contracting community will tell you they appreciate the opportunity to have latitude. I think that contracting officers have, for a long time, wanted to play in the gray space, if you will, and the RFO gives them the opportunity to do that. I'm going to be very keen on what happens with the public comment period. So I think as they go into rulemaking, it's going to become real for industry and government both. We'll be in this bit of an in-between phase. I know that industry is going to have a lot of commentary, as they should. And I think that's going to strengthen the regulation, at the end of the day. But acquisition leaders are going to have to work with their staffs to make sure that culturally they're comfortable playing in this in-between stage for the next year.
Yeah, that's actually where I wanted to go next, is what can senior leaders in the acquisition community do to give those contracting officers comfort with having that latitude that in some cases they've never really had before?
Yeah, it's all about letting them know that it's okay to try it out. The deviations are all there. There's no contracting officers and specialists should be working in accordance with the new language. I think they just need to be encouraged to try things out and to take a different perspective. If you have not traditionally used a lot of flexibility and now all of a sudden it's available to you, that could be a bit of a jarring experience for some folks. And so I think leaders just need to, let their folks know that it's okay.
In the time that you've been in government, the concept, the structure of acquisition has really changed dramatically. A lot of emphasis on GWACs, a lot of emphasis on IDIQs. The GSA schedules are becoming more and more a priority for this administration and previous ones. How do you see that landscape shifting, and how should both the contracting officers, the acquisition community, and the vendors prepare to deal with all of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that contract consolidation is really, it's real. And I think it's great. The OneGov initiative is fantastic in the sense that it gives agencies the opportunity to keep the more strategic mission work and send the common goods and services over to GSA. And if they're able to aggregate the demand and go to industry and leverage the entire government's buying power, agencies win. I think it's going to be, you talked about people. I think it's going to all come down to having the staff to be able to do the acquisition planning that's going to be needed on GSA's side, working with the agencies to figure out what the needs are. So if you're going to go to market with a consolidated approach, you have to figure out, well, what is the potential need across all the agencies, and that's going to require a lot of acquisition planning and people to do it.
What skills will those people need to have that maybe they don't have now, and will need to add?
I think bringing a big A mentality to the game, big acquisition versus procurement. So really thinking about strategy, and not just strategy in terms of program strategy, and not just individual contract and task order strategy is what I'm talking about. So you've got a lot of folks in procurement that'll be able to bring that skill set. I think GSA is going to have to find them.
And the skill set for an artificial intelligence era and so on, is that changing the way that agencies should look at the kind of people that they add?
I think so, frankly. AI is here, and it's a strategic lever if agencies use it, and if the individuals and the lines of business are willing to play around with it. I think it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It makes some agencies uncomfortable as well. Governance and what you need to do to make sure that an AI solution is actually going to protect data, right? All those things come into play. I think that's sometimes why CEOs especially may not be comfortable using AI tools just yet. I'm also not sure that they're 100% on all the use cases that, frankly, apply in terms of AI in the procurement space. There's a lot. But I think all that, just needs time to percolate. But yeah, your contract specialist has had to be almost a part-time IT expert, for decades, just because of all of the systems that they have to touch, all of the Data Act requirements. So yeah, I think if you can get your contracting workforce to start thinking a little bit like technologists, the government's going to win.
Mike, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
You can read more about acquisition after the shutdown on today's show page at fedgovtoday.com.